Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's happening, everybody? John Hiley here with Angela Hiley on the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. And we are rocking out our traditional Thursday show right now.
Mm-hmm.
So how you doing today, baby girl?
I'm okay.
She's okay.
Yes.
Notice how she just says it like that. I'm okay. Yes. She doesn't want to say it, but she's been polishing balls all day. So you
Gold
might get,
balls.
You might get grumpy, girl, because it's the end of the day. I gotta be careful. She gets grumpy around this time. I just try not to say anything too out of line.
You don't have any more energy drinks in the refrigerator, do you?
We just drank the last one.
I mean, you drank it.
Well, we as in me, yes. So anyhow, we're bringing you this podcast today because we're going to talk about a little bit about the essentials that you need to have on your website. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to try to sell you. Everybody knows I got a website system, but I'm really going to give you some valuable information that I want you to be able to take home. And whether you use my systems or not, I want you to be able to apply it to what you currently have, okay? So here's what you guys got to understand. We have websites all over the United States, all over Australia. We have websites that all over Canada, and we know what works. We understand what works, and we know exactly what triggers the client to buy. And I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to say, I'm just going to tell you all this shit, and you got to come buy it from me. I'm actually going to give you information that you can use. That's what we're about on this podcast. So you're definitely going to want to hang on. Because the information I'm going to drop here, if you actually utilize it and use it, it can change your life. Mm-hmm. And, the bottom line is it definitely changed my life. We'll go a little bit into that. Years ago when I first got into the web arena and understood the power of it, really.
Yeah.
And the wifey here, she can kind of understand that because she was in the middle of it. She understood the power of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk a little bit about that. But before that, we got a due to pay on this podcast. You guys... This podcast is not free, okay? What?
Oh my God.
This podcast is not free. I mean, it is free, meaning you don't have to pay with money.
Yeah.
But what you need to pay with is a review, okay?
Oh.
So we want you guys to go to iTunes. We want you guys to go to Stitcher, preferably iTunes, really. That's where most of our listeners are
I would
at.
love it if somebody just wrote a review all about me.
Yeah, she gets so mad with you guys, right?
I'm just messing.
Oh yeah, you was happy though when somebody said that they loved your laugh, but I talk too much.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
I'm sitting here going like, I am a damn talk host on a podcast, and I talk too much. Am I supposed to just sit here and be quiet?
I don't know. Maybe they want me to talk more or something like that. No,
yeah,
I'm
that's
cool
funny.
with it.
No, that's cool.
I'm
I'm gonna let you take over now. Go.
No, you can't put me on the spot. That's not how it works.
All right, so go rewrite your review, homie.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't put me on the spot like that. That's not
Yeah.
I can't hang with that type
So
of
look,
pressure.
if y'all get anything out of this podcast at all, please go write us a review. That's how we expand. Not to mention, you're going to get put on our monthly review contest. We don't know what we're dropping this month, but I will tell you that Tactical is making some fucking bitching tools right now.
Yeah.
We're making some bitching fucking tools, and we're going to be dropping them to our people who write reviews for us.
Yeah.
That's nothing better than that. Nothing
Yeah,
better
the
than
gentleman
giving it
that
away.
won the bottle of tequila, Jake.
Yeah, it's being done it's being done, I think, the next couple of days.
Yeah.
That'll actually be finalized, and then we actually just now pretty much got our stock ready to do the run.
Yeah, but that one gentleman that won the
Solis,
hammer,
yeah, Steve Solis.
has he?
No, we're going to be sending that out with the tactical run. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't have it yet. I mean, I had one handle, but I accidentally put too big of a thing and it cracked.
I didn't know if he knew that he won or if you reached out to him or of that nature.
Yeah, he knows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, Steve.
Right.
If not, you will know because I'm sending you a hammer. And they're going to be in our new packaging that we got. Woo!
Ooh.
Beautiful. But she was polishing the 24K gold balls all day today.
So I will tell you all a story. I somewhat know how to work a drill, a power drill.
I used to seen her to begin with. I was just like, please don't get your hair caught in it.
John was worried, but then he left me alone. And then I got into, in all honesty, I mean, I do all the yard work, so I know how to run.
That's what she told me. She's like, I run a weed whacker.
But when we bought that thing, though, you didn't even know how to start it. I did.
I don't fuck with weed whackers.
Yeah.
I'm
But
a
come on.
specialist. I specialize in what I do, and then I pay people to fuck with weed whackers.
Yeah.
Or I have you do it. I don't care. Either way.
Hey, let's just say within 5 minutes using the power drill, I was a pro.
Yeah.
See, I pick up things like extremely easy. Once I'm like,
And honestly, it's best to just walk away when she starts asking too many questions and let her figure it out on her own.
yeah.
Yeah, because while I was standing there and she was trying to figure it out,
Didn't look-
it wasn't working very well.
No,
And I
it
was just like, just don't hurt yourself.
I wasn't
And then
gonna
she's
hurt
like,
myself.
I run a weed whacker.
We-
I'm like, okay. My bad. That thing is pretty fucking dangerous. I get it.
yeah, you gotta wear safety glasses with that thing.
Yeah. So, and then tomorrow she puts the thread locker in and puts the threads in all the gold balls.
Yep.
And then after that, we got the clown killers, we got the gold balls, we got everything finally
Them
ready because
rubber balls
we've
or
had
whatever.
we've had people hitting us up everywhere.
I know.
When's it going to be ready? When's it going to be ready? And see, last time I actually succumbed to that pressure. And I dropped the zombie killers not thinking they would sell out in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And I had all these bold promises on the website, like ships in 24 hours.
yeah.
And I sold the motherfuckers out and woke up and one day and they were all gone.
yeah.
And then I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I got to build like half of these. And that was because everybody's like, when
caught
are you
in a
going to do it?
pickle.
They're like, when are you going to do it? And I succumbed. But this time I remembered that. And I said, and I had to apologize to people. I'm like, dude, I just didn't know they were going to sell out this
I think
quick.
the majority of the people, they were,
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Everybody was cool.
everybody was cool about it. But
But this time I didn't want to put myself, that was some stressful shit. I was over here early as fuck, late as fuck.
I know, but you have Mamacita over here helping you this time around.
Yeah. So we essentially what we're trying to do is have it done to where we just put them in a bag and ship them.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we can make these bold promises of,
Exactly.
24-hour shipping and all this kind of shit you want to
Mhm.
say. Because in all honesty, like I want people to have a great experience. I want people to like just fucking order it and then, oh shit, it's here in 2 days,
Yeah.
I mean,
Totally get that.
That's ideal. And
But it's always best to prepare and not try to create more stress than.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And that's the same thing with the handles too. I went and checked in and shook the tree on Monday and was checking on them and, going over a few very, very minor design changes with them. And God, I think we're probably 3 weeks out on that. But in all honesty, once I get them back, I'm going to have to take them over. I want to have the tactical logo stamped on the back of them with it's called a laser etch machine. So that's probably going to take a little while, and just when you calculate all these little things and getting things prepared, and you always got to calculate in any issues that might come up during the process.
Yeah.
Like all that shit. You just got to take an accountability because I don't know, man. If you guys have never dealt with machining and building shit, there's always a layer of problems.
Mhm.
And we've seen more problems come with folks that use China for their manufacturing, and I'll be honest with you, China, when they do it right, they do it right, but when they do it wrong, they majorly fuck it up. And I've even talked to friends that have got like bad shipments of product, and they try to hit them up and just be like, "Well, you sell cheaper." We give it you cheaper if you sell cheaper. And, they're like, "Nah, I don't think you understand. This won't even work." So, we've seen the headaches out there and stuff like that. And we decided like full on, not only that, like I just want to be able to stamp US American made on all of our shit.
Yeah.
And,
But everybody's got to weigh their options and then they just make the final decision.
and you want people kind of close by. That way you can get your hands around their neck.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, no, not like
Yeah.
that. Not like that. Like
That's the
to
worst
be
thing
able
ever.
to-
Like I got a guy that I was working with on some internet stuff, and that was my problem with him. I wanted to get my hands around this guy's neck so many times, and he's far enough away where he can talk some shit, and I wouldn't show up in his office, But sometimes you need that, man. People need that accountability, especially in a world today where everybody's talking shit on the internet, but then when they meet each other, they're sucking them off and
Oh God.
well, and just like I think Trey Scott said it the best. He said, everybody was perfectly polite to me at the Mobile Tech Expo. Who's gonna fuck with that fucking monster? I don't know if you guys ever met Trey Scott, but he doesn't even look as big in photos. Like, really, when you get around him is when you see how big the dude is.
He's a nice guy.
He's a good guy.
So is Hannah.
Yeah, and so is Hannah. Yeah, Hannah's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She's super, super sweetheart, and I hope she gets better. What did she had a surgery recently, right?
Yeah, but she hasn't went into details about the type of surgery and stuff like that. But
Yeah, but she just so anyhow, I hope you get better, Hannah. Appreciate you, Trey.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going into this podcast. What the hell did I tell you we were going to talk about? Websites.
I guess you were going to give some
Yeah.
tips about
Absolutely.
what's needed.
Well, actually, we redesign a lot of websites, so I get the opportunity to look at quite a few. And I get a great opportunity to kind of basically dissect them and understand exactly what the problems are with them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
One of the bigger problems I find out there is very slow servers. So when you have your website built, you want to make sure that you use a server, meaning you guys heard of GoDaddy, Bluehost. Them are all usually crap. And they typically don't have a really good response time.
They shitty.
They are shitty, yeah. And there's a couple other companies out there that might be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
I heard GatorHost might be a little bit better. I don't know. But what I do know is Amazon is the king of kings on there. And I mean, literally, if you, Nike.com, hosted on Amazon, all right? If you're any website that gets any traffic at all and you want to be up a majority of the time,
Yeah.
you're going to be hosted on Amazon's servers.
Mm.
So if your website is not connected to that, it might be much slower. And if it's much slower, Google's going to be taking that in accountability as far as your rankings, okay? Because here's what I want you guys to imagine. I'm trying to not talk too much techno jargon while doing this. You may get a little bit of techno jargon from me because it's just hard not to articulate what I'm talking about without getting into that a little bit. But what I'm going to try to explain to you is Google is what we consider a matchmaker. Okay. And Google wants to be the best matchmaker in the world. And what they're trying to match is consumer experience or a consumer experience with their product and their search engine. I don't know if you guys ever, recently I did a search on Yahoo and I was like, oh, well, this sucks balls. I'm like, it just felt like the whole experience was horrible.
Does anybody still use Yahoo?
I don't even know. But the thing is, though, is Google has made their search engine experience so good that if you do it somewhere else in some random place, then you're disappointed. Yeah. And they love that, okay? They're always pushing the bar of that. Let me turn my phone off here. All right, probably Yelp. But anyhow, I don't know if you guys get Yelp calls. Don't ever buy Yelp shit. Don't ever buy or advertise with Yelp, okay? So going back, I'll go into detail that one day, but don't do it, okay? They're gangster. They'll, if you quit their $300 a month or $400 a month reviews, they'll penalize you for it. I mean, that's extortion in my opinion. But so here's the deal with Google. They're a matchmaker, all right? They want the consumer experience. Consumer experience has a lot of aspects, and what Google finds is that people don't want to fucking wait forever for your website to load. Mm-hmm. And people want your website to be mobile friendly because 70-80% of searches now are done on mobile.
Yeah.
So that's two things that Google wants, okay? Google also wants to align your website the best with the user with fresh, relevant content. Mm-hmm. So Google loves it when you have blogs on your website that are keyword specific, but have relevant content that would be appealing to the user, okay? Mm-hmm. So there are three things that you want to make sure that you do right. You want to make sure your website's fast, it's on good servers. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure that you everything loads fast. That's not just good enough to be on a good server. You got to make sure that your images are sized perfect for that fucking spot, okay? Mm-hmm. See, a lot of people don't realize this, but for instance, our photographer that takes these beautiful photos here at our Mega Media event, his photos are so good, you could probably stretch them up and put them on a billboard.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
here's what you got to realize. That file is fucking giant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to do what's called compressing your images, okay? And essentially what that is, that's making it the exact size for the spot that it goes in.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot tell you how many times that I've seen web builders out there that build a website and I run it through Google Speed Checker and they didn't compress one image on that website.
Mm-hmm.
Basically meaning they didn't do it at all, okay? And tell you what, if you're going to buy from a cheap-ass website builder, that's the type of shit you're going to get. It's going to cost you money in the long run
Mm-hmm.
because there's no way they're taking the time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, the system that me and Mike bought is it auto compresses everything to the exact size. So it doesn't matter if like one of our users wants to upload it in their mobile or one of our users wants to drop it from their desktop. You'll actually see the image compress before your eyes and it'll go to the exact size that it needs to be,
Mm-hmm.
not only on desktop but on mobile. Okay. But for you to do it yourself, what you do is I used Photoshop. And I think there's like compress JPEG and compresspng.com. You have to check that out. Mike was telling me something like that. But I always use Photoshop because they had what's Save for Web. And when you click Save for Web, you're actually able to, I normally strip 40% of the quality, which still looks phenomenal. You can't even tell when you strip down 40, or you take it down to 40% of the quality, and then I would size it to the exact pixel it needed to be to where it went.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to do that shit anymore. So that's good. That cuts one step out of my my deal, and that allows my users to upload photos without the bullshit.
Yeah.
So that being said, your photo's got to be good. And then also, I'm going to tell you guys, man, we were living in a world of WordPress for a long time. And I will tell you guys, WordPress is not where it's at anymore. I mean, WordPress is good for a blog, but the problem is it's got a bunch of, so WordPress is an open source platform, basically meaning that people can develop what's called plugins for it. So anything you see in WordPress, whether it's your forum that people fill out for your dent removal request, or whether it's your image slider in there that images are moving on, or even your gallery, okay? Them are all open source plugins that are ran by independent places. Basically meaning your website is assembled by a bunch of random different people, okay?
Oh.
Sounds cool, right? Well, what happens when one of these people die or they just stop doing it?
I don't know. It kind of sounds like a hot mess in a way.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. And as many of you guys have experienced, if anybody's had a WordPress for any length of time, eventually something stops working and it breaks.
Yeah.
And what that is, that means that WordPress, as an individual platform, updates its actual platform, but the plugins inside the platform are not updated, which creates a mismatch, okay?
Yeah.
That'd be like having, for instance, an iPhone that didn't, that's the reason why your apps always update, okay?
Yeah.
They always have to match the quality of Apple's updates, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So Apple does an update, fuck shit up for them. They have to update it, right?
Yeah.
Well, WordPress doesn't carry that kind of weight because it's like literally you put it on your website and you update it. It doesn't really force the other people that have the plugins to update it as well,
Mm-hmm.
which causes major amounts of breakage inside the system.
Mm-hmm.
So, I recommend using a platform that the entire thing gets updated at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to stay up. I'm here to tell you guys, like, I know this for a fact, okay? We've had our system built. We own a system. And we had our system built by the same folks that build for big agencies in New York City, in San Francisco. We had a list of agencies that work for this a mile long, and I called a bunch of them and talked to them about the system and tried to understand it, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will guarantee you guys this 100%, okay, that literally you want everything to be updated at once, because what will happen is Google will make a change in their speed algorithm,
Mm-hmm.
or they'll make a change in the way they look at your website, mobile or desktop, with speed.
Yeah.
And if everything inside that system isn't jiving or isn't moving with Google,
Yeah.
it all fucks up and none of it works correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of times, and it's even down to, I know I'm going to talk some techno jargon. There's something in there called JavaScript. And that's a code inside the website. So what you guys got to think is, when Google sees your website, it doesn't see the images. It looks at it in code. So it crawls what's called a sitemap inside of there. Have you guys ever Googled something and you got on a website and something went crazy weird and the site like stacked up all these weird looking links and everything was a code, right? Well, that was you accidentally triggering the system somehow and getting into what's called the sitemap.
Yeah.
Well, the sitemap is what Google reads, okay? And literally every single thing element that's in your website has a JavaScript, has HTML code that has to move and match and minimize for Google's requirements when they crawl that sitemap, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So again, what they're ultimately looking for is a consumer experience when they're using their product. So they're judging you on all kinds of little criteria that everything needs to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always recommend, I'm just going to tell people straight out to stay away from WordPress, because not only do you got to worry about your plugins breaking, you've got to worry about being fucking hacked.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, you got these fucking weirdos out there.
A lot of times they just do. I think they just do it for a giggle or something, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, you got these fucking weirdos out there that just like to get in and dump a bunch of files in people's websites. And usually they're trying to data mine from your consumers.
What's that mean?
Well, essentially what that means is they're trying to take it when a consumer fills out a form on your website.
Yeah.
They're trying to extract the information to build a list.
Oh.
So if you think about that, they do it to like 1,000 of them. I mean, they're getting like 1,000 emails a day they can spam. Okay.
I get you.
So that goes on to my next thing on your website. You need to have the green SSL icon on there, basically meaning that it's secure. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what that means, that's the equivalent of, okay, I'll try to explain it like this. When you're not secure, it's like living in an apartment. Okay. Let's just say living in an apartment, like a dorm, all right? Everybody can walk in and out of the rooms, right? Your neighbors can come in there. They can possibly steal something from you, whatever, all right?
It's not very trusting.
Well, yeah, it's because you got multiple people using the same space.
I get you.
When it's non-secure.
Yeah.
When it's secure, that means you're fucking Fort Knox.
Yeah.
And there's no other website on your space.
Wouldn't it be like if it's not secure, then there's like a chance of you getting some type of virus or something that can like damage your computer?
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. It's much easier for them to hack and to actually get into it when it's not secure, because they've got other portals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just like going through yours. They could hack into somebody else's and get to yours. So let's say somebody has like an insecure password or something like that, and they get into theirs, they can see yours sitting on it as well.
Yeah.
So that's why Google and a lot of places, they throw up red flags, like Norton antivirus, stuff like that, when it's a non-secure site, especially it's a non-secure checkout. So what they're saying is that when the site's not secure and you check out and you put your credit card information on there, somebody can easily steal that on a non-secure site.
Oh, I wouldn't do. I know not to do that.
Right. Well,
That's
I
like
mean,
a
you
big
get
no-no.
so many fucking alerts.
That's like a big no-no.
Right. But see, now it's like bleeding over into everything. Like the future is making sure your website's secure.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be secure. All right.
No doubt.
And I'll be honest with you, it's you got to install plugins and all kinds of stuff on side of WordPress. It's just better to work with a secured system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, and it's going to be a little bit expensive as well to get all that stuff taken care of for you when it comes to a secure system.
Yeah.
I would say there are some website builders and providers out there that will be able to do that. Ours, it comes with every single website, so it's at no additional charge. We're able to secure the website,
Mm-hmm.
and we made sure that shit was like that. It has to be like that, okay?
Because it's too legit.
So above and beyond that, the next step, okay, is that what you guys want, it's a little bit of a law of persuasion, okay? On the very first scroll of your website, you want to make sure that you have some featured reviews from your clients and customers.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a link for them to check out additional reviews. So the first thing, I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I do when I run into a website, I mean, I don't care if somehow, I'm looking at Facebook and I click on a website on Facebook for a restaurant, I'm probably going to Google that restaurant if they don't have a way for me to look at their reviews.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look at their reviews, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know what other people think about that service. I want to know what their experience is.
Yeah.
And if I look on there and it's a 3 point, anything below a 4.0, it's got me thinking, you know?
Dun, dun, dun.
And I try to calculate math in my head. I'm like,
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know how many times I tell her, I'm like, man, this place got a 4.5 review with 700 ratings. Shit must be good.
We dare.
Right. But now here's the mistake you make, all right? If you give the client an opportunity to go outside of your website and search in a service-based business, now they could be comparing you to your competitors. You'd rather keep them isolated. Keep them on your website, right? Give them a way to click a button and look at your YouTube or your I'm sorry, not YouTube, but your Google reviews. Click a button and look at your Yelp reviews. We got a Yelp feed inside of our system, so we got Yelp. It connects with our system. It interchanges, right? And as much as I was just talking shit about Yelp, I still use the free Yelp, and I ignore all the phone calls when they call me, and it still works. A lot of you guys out on the West Coast, you guys know you live on Yelp, right? I'm not telling you not to use them. I'm just telling you not to give them any fucking money.
Yeah.
So, that being said, you want to make sure that when they click on a link that it populates in a new browser. You never want to give them a reason to abandon your website fully. Okay. So that's something you want to pay attention to. This might be some stuff you guys need to be writing down notes and going to your website and taking a good look at it and make sure that your website is functioning like this. Okay. Now, the next thing that you want to have on there is a good forum system for people to fill out a request to purchase your services, right? You want to make sure, because most people are on a mobile browser, you want to make sure that your forum has the ability for them to populate their camera on their phone and also actually connect directly to your library on their phone, okay? But I think the key is that they can like hit the button and it'll give them the option to go to their library or open their camera. So this way they could take photos or video and upload them directly to your forum.
Yeah.
Okay? Super important. You can gather some really good insights, some very good information. And with a forum, you can actually, rather than just an email, you can kind of instruct them what to do. You can get the right, the right information structured the way you want it. And you can give them a better estimate experience, in my opinion.
Yeah.
One of the next things, you never want to devalue the text message. And we actually had a plugin built on our website system, and I'm sure you guys can have this done on your system, a WordPress, whatever. But we have a plugin built in that they click a button and it populates directly to their phone, and it has a little message in there telling them what we want. So we find that's super valuable. And one of the cool things is inside our system, we can actually track the clicks and track the buttons and all that stuff. So we got like an internal statistic like monitor that monitors like where people are coming from. It monitors like what devices they're searching on, whether how many mobile visitors are on there at that time. So super important to get them statistics and kind of understand your statistics as well.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing I want to go into is I get a lot of people, like recently we are taking care of this gentleman's website right now. And I was honestly so confused because I've never seen anything like this. And the crazy thing about it is that even if you Googled his name with his city, he's had this website for 2 years. He's had this website for 2 years. And even if you Google his business name, his actual .com, and his city, nothing comes up on Google.
How's that even possible?
I know. And it was just by default, I'm sitting there going like, normally Google at some point somehow stumbles into your stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like either like 100% the builder did not submit it to Google at all. And see, back when he had this bill, it used to be really easy to submit them to Google.
Yeah.
So you would just basically Google, submit my website to Google.
Yeah.
And a little box would come up and you copied and pasted your domain name and you submitted it in there and you would be put on a list to crawl, which basically means Google's going to run their computer through your system. Okay. Crawl your website is what it's called. And Since then, now this is, I mean, like I was saying, that was the back then when that's all that needed to be done. So evidently that wasn't even being done. Well, since then, we're having this traumatic thing where nobody's doing it anymore or submitting it to Google because Google made it much more difficult over the last like 4 to 6 months. So now to get Google to crawl your website, you actually have to create a Google Webmaster account. You have to put a code inside of your website, inside of the header HTML, and you have to verify it through Google. And then once it's verified through Google, you have to do what's called submit a sitemap. So you have to submit the code to your site every time you want them to crawl it. So essentially, if you write a blog, submit your site because you want them to crawl and see that blog. Anything you do, you got to resubmit a sitemap letting them know that you have updated it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a big time change that happened inside of Google that I think a lot of people might not even be aware because I don't think a lot of website builders were even doing this shit to begin with.
Oh.
And that's my notion because I've seen some stuff out there that's just, it's kind of startling. I'm like, oh.
It's very hairy.
But that being said, if you look around, and I honestly don't know any other system that does this, okay? And I'm talking about ours auto submits every 24 hours.
Oh.
So it actually has a system inside of it that immediately when the website's populated, it's connected with Google.
Yeah.
So again, that's always been the key. And maybe there's a plugin out there for WordPress that does that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just don't build on them anymore. But, I mean, you can check around and check it out or maybe create a Google Webmaster account. And then every time you update it, you want to get in there and submit it, okay? So the next thing you want to look for, guys, is social media activity, okay? Google and Facebook, with Google and Facebook activity and making sure you have activity going on Instagram, making sure that you have activity constantly going on social media is super important when you backlink your website, okay? In a sense, you want to give your clients and customers the ability to share your website where they can click button and share it on Facebook, share it on Google, and that will create multiple backlinks, okay? Now, if you ain't got all time for that bullshit, which, I post links to everything. That's why I always say a blog is so important. So inside of it's tacticaldent.com, you can check it out. I've got probably 24, 25 blogs written, and my website is only 3 weeks old, and it's already ranking and very, very high in some keywords that I'm finding. Like, I'm already up to like number 19 in Centerville dent removal.
Ooh.
I'm up to like 21 on Cincinnati hail repair.
Oh.
Basically, what that fucking means is that I will be number 1.
Oh.
Is essentially what that means, because it's when you start. The key is, so what I do is we have an SEO team, okay? So my SEO team, they essentially they go out, and what they do is they give you a report. So when I first launched this website, I get a report from the guys, and I have no keywords ranking, 0 on everything.
Yeah.
So I give them 12 keywords that I want to target, right? And then they go back, I give them the keywords, and then they run them through the research and make sure they're relevant. And they give me suggestions and all this kind of stuff. And we have a little back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So then we concrete the 12 keywords, right? My guys go out and they write 100 articles per month for me in 5 different categories, okay? So 100 articles per month in 5 different categories. And they give me weekly work reports and weekly ranking reports. So I'm 3 weeks in and I'm already ranking on probably 7 or 8 primary keywords, and which is absolutely phenomenal. So that being said, guys, what you need to understand about search engine optimization now is that you need to have links out there on the internet. They're called backlinks, okay? You want the backlinks on English-speaking websites. I can't even tell you, one time I paid this guy $500, not I paid him $500, but he did 500 backlinks for me, and I paid him like $80 to do it, and half of them didn't work. The other half of them were on non-English speaking websites. And he didn't even write any articles. He just put links everywhere, right?
Oh, my.
So what I'm telling you guys, your backlinks depend heavily on the quality of them. And if the people that are writing the tiny little articles everywhere are using the keywords that are tying in. What I noticed from our SEO specialists, that they not only work for me, they work for a ton of websites that we manage, right? Our SEO specialist actually, it seems like they just go through the keywords, and 1 week they'll target like one big time.
Yeah.
And the next week they'll target the second one, like as the primary. But then as I look through their articles, they got like secondary, third, fourth, fifth. And I kind of understand their algorithm. And not only do they post links to, they got like 5 different categories. And one of them is like image linking, you know. I'll notice they'll take the images of my websites and put them on image websites and write tiny little articles about them. They'll go in and we have them tailor out the websites for us. And they'll actually go in and write little descriptions under the images. They'll change the title tags at the top of the website to match some search engine results. So just all kinds of things that they do that I ain't got time to mess with it, right?
Yeah.
But anyhow, I mean, that's there's some super important things that you got to do when it comes to ranking. Some people don't understand that. They don't understand the level of labor that's put into it. And then the next thing is that when you guys are writing blogs, you want to make sure that it's keyword specific and city specific to what you want to target. Okay. So that's what I do on all my blogs. We have blog writers as well. So I surround myself, man. I call it the Voltron, right? So I got a team around me. I've got about 5 different writers that I work with. I've got one search engine specialist that he just looks and he actually gets the keyword set for me, which I think he's phenomenal at doing. We had great communication. Then I got one company that does all the backlinking for me. And I just surround myself with a little team of people that make it fucking happen.
You gotta have to have a good team.
And I'll tell you what, I was talking to some of these agencies around here. They wanted to literally charge, it was like $800 to $1,600 a month to have done what we have for our clients done that we actually throw in for free at the beginning of their website cycle. So, you know, that being said, you know, when we launch a website, I always plug in a couple months worth of that SEO work.
Yeah.
Super important to have a launch pad right there, you know, to do it up. But that's some stuff you guys can do on your own as well, you know. If you guys are interested like I am and constantly wanting to improve your system and do some things, I mean, super, super important to get in there and do that kind of stuff, especially in the future when things are going to get much more competitive. And I got to say that the only thing you got to do, you don't have to be the best, but you have to be better than your competition.
Yeah.
When it comes to this game. And I will tell you guys this straight up. Most people are riding on an old wave. They're riding on a wave from years ago when they created that old ass website, and they just happen to be the oldest one in the market. And I'm serious. And we've came in, and in the markets that we start running in, we just bypass them like that.
Yeah.
Not only do we bypass them, we shoot them down in the ranking.
Yeah.
You know, because now we're setting a different standard for Google to compare with.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll see ours rank up in one spot, and then our blogs rank below it. You know, some good stuff. And guys, keep in mind that when you start creating blogs and you start creating content, that should be your goal. Create a ton of content because you can reshare it over and over and over again on Facebook and LinkedIn. Tech tip of the day. Start doing both. Do Facebook and LinkedIn because there's a big income on LinkedIn. You can get jobs from LinkedIn. You can connect with business people on LinkedIn. And then Facebook has been great for us all the way around.
Do your research.
Yeah. And honestly, with you guys, we got to go to an appointment. And I could probably talk all day. I might have to do another episode about this.
Part 2.
Might have to do a part 2 about this, huh?
This is something that you can talk about for days.
Yeah. It's so funny. Every time I get done talking about this, even the gentleman who built out our entire system, he's like, "You're really passionate about this, aren't you?"
Yes, you are.
You know, in all honesty, you know, I'll be honest with you guys. Look, so here's the deal. And I thought about this morning, right? I was like, what's more valuable, being like the best dent tech in the world or being the best marketer in the world? What's more valuable?
I would say probably being the best marketer, wouldn't it?
Well,
no.
Simply because, now let me tell you something. Simply because when you know how to market and you know how to sell any service, and you're a good marketer, then you have created job security for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know, with the dent removal, you know, something can happen to you or something could happen where you couldn't do it anymore. And you're left with a skill that was.
I see where you're going with
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I
I think that's why this
mission.
mission's so important to me, because I want you guys to understand how to make it fucking rain. And when I mean make it rain, when you know how to make it fucking rain, meaning you know how to make that fucking money sprinkle, you know how to make it rain, then you can do any fucking thing. Okay? You can expand your business, you become bigger, you can become better, and that's what this podcast is all about.
Yes.
So go make that shit fucking rain.
Make it rain.
All right, we're going to see you on that next one.
Remember, it's all about the hustle.